The internet is overflowing with stories of people who sprinted toward early retirement, only to arrive miserable, bored, broke. They followed a spreadsheet, not a life plan. This is a tragedy. FIRE should maximize your happiness and your control over your life. It's not a contest to see who can suffer most now for a joyless future. If your FIRE plan feels like a prison sentence, you're doing it wrong. The wrong plan makes you miserable today and might leave you unhappy tomorrow. The good news, this is avoidable. This essay gives you a simple, logical framework to design a path that fits the life you want. This is not about complex financial derivatives or some secret high-yield investment. It's about introspection, about being brutally honest about what truly matters. The world of FIRE has many labels and strategies. Lean FIRE, Fat FIRE, Barista FIRE, Coast FIRE. They're not dogma, they're tools. Your job, know yourself well enough to pick the right tool. The goal, build a life of freedom and purpose, not just a pile of money. Forget your neighbor, forget flashy headlines, and focus on a plan you won't regret living. The core mistake, treating FIRE as a purely mathematical equation. Calculate your savings rate, multiply expenses by 25, and march off into austerity. But life is not a spreadsheet. Life has texture, change, and unexpected desires. Plans that ignore the human element fail. Forcing a social butterfly into isolation will fail. Forcing a comfort-loving homebody into a tiny minimalist apartment breeds resentment. True independence. Build a life you don't want to retire from, but can. We'll get there by asking a few shockingly simple questions. Your answers form the bedrock of your strategy. They act as your constitution, guiding principles that align finances with life. This alignment is where the magic happens. Saving and investing stop feeling like deprivation and become deliberate construction of a better future. It's the difference between feeling trapped by a budget and feeling empowered by a plan. So, grab a metaphorical cup of coffee, silence the noise, and prepare to do the most important work, getting to know your priorities. The first and most fundamental question you must answer is this: do you value your time or your material comfort more? There is no right answer, only an honest one. This single choice will have the biggest impact on the speed and shape of your FIRE journey. On one side, people who crave free time. They want to reclaim their days from the 9-to-5 grind. Live in a smaller house, drive an older car, cook most meals at home, enjoy reading, enjoy hiking, enjoy cycling. This is lean FIRE, retiring early on a smaller nest egg by committing to a lower-cost lifestyle. On the other end, people who value material comfort, a nice house in a good school district, 2 reliable cars, annual international vacations, eating at nice restaurants without checking the bank account. These things are more expensive. This is Fat FIRE, accepting higher spending as part of happiness. The trade-off, a much larger portfolio. You may have to work longer, or earn more, or both. It's a marathon, not a sprint, to maintain a high standard of living. Think of it in practical terms. If your current annual spending is $100,000, a traditional Fat FIRE goal would be around $2.5 million. If you can slash your spending to a lean but happy $40,000 per year, your target drops to just $1 million. That is a colossal difference that can shave decades off your working career. So ask yourself, is lower spending a sacrifice or an optimization? Do you dream of an empty calendar or waking up in a luxury apartment with a full slate of paid-for activities? Be honest. Lying to yourself is the fastest way to build a life that makes you unhappy. Your answer isn't about being good or bad with money, it's about self-awareness. I, for example, lean heavily towards valuing time. I cut a fancy commute. I cut expensive lunches. I cut new office clothes. Removing them felt liberating. My friends value a beautiful, well-appointed home. They'd work an extra decade to fund it. Both paths are valid. The key, consciously choose your trade-off instead of letting it choose you. The next question requires you to look at the patterns of your life. How stable is your lifestyle? Think about your career, your family situation, your geographic location, your personality. Are you someone who thrives on routine and predictability? Stable job in a durable industry? Living in a community you love? Predictable family expenses? Or is your life more changeable? Volatile industry, like tech startups. Moving to new cities every few years. A growing family with evolving needs. Acknowledging your reality is crucial for a resilient plan. If your life is highly stable, you can commit to straightforward paths like lean fire, fat fire. Steady income and predictable expenses make savings math easier. The math is cleaner, the path is clearer. You can optimize with precision because you have a sense of the next 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. If your life is less predictable, you need flexibility and shock absorbers. A rigid fire plan can shatter with a curveball, layoff, cross-country move, unexpected twins. More flexible strategies fit better. Barista fire. Save enough for basics. Then work a low-stress part-time job for benefits and spending money. Lowers total savings needed. Provides a social and financial buffer. Coast fire. Save aggressively early to build a solid invested sum. Example, $100,000 to $200,000. Then stop major contributions. Just earn enough to cover living expenses. Let the nest egg coast and grow over decades. Freedom to change careers, work part-time, or take mini retirements. Heavy lifting of saving is already done. Built for adaptability, not rigidity. Now it's time for a gut check. How well do you sleep at night when the stock market is plunging? Your emotional response to financial risk is a core component of your personality, and ignoring it is a recipe for anxiety. Some people are natural-born risk takers. They see a market downturn as a buying opportunity and are comfortable with a 100% stock portfolio. They know that over the long term, it offers the highest potential returns. They can stomach volatility because their eyes are fixed on the 30-year horizon. On the other hand, many people are deeply risk-averse. The thought of life savings dropping by 30% in a single year, even temporarily, causes panic and sleepless nights. For these people, a plan built on maximum growth is a plan built on maximum stress. They need a strategy that prioritizes peace of mind. That might mean holding a larger percentage of bonds or keeping a significant cash cushion well beyond the standard emergency fund. It could also mean a FIRE plan that doesn't rely solely on market returns, for example, rental property income or a part-time job in retirement. A person with a high tolerance for uncertainty might be a great candidate for lean fire. That often means retiring with the minimum viable nest egg, trusting the 4% rule, and being ready to cut costs if the market performs poorly. It accepts higher sequence of return risk in exchange for getting your time back sooner. You must be able to weather the storms without panicking and selling at the bottom. That requires steeliness of nerve, and there's no shame if that's not you. Conversely, someone who needs certainty and safety will be happier on fat fire. Fat fire provides a bigger buffer. Retiring with a 3 million portfolio instead of a 1 million portfolio makes a market crash far less threatening. Your withdrawal rate might be a super safe 2.5% or 3%, insulating you from volatility. Barista fire offers a different safety net, active income from a part-time job. A steady paycheck, however small, can be an enormous psychological comfort, making market fluctuations feel much less personal and threatening. Choose the path that lets you sleep at night. The final question probes your desires for your post-work life. Do you want a life filled with abundant options or one defined by elegant simplicity? Do you envision a life of world travel, starting a new business, picking up expensive hobbies like sailing, flying, or owning multiple properties? These are all wonderful aspirations, but they are options that come with a price tag. A life rich in options requires a financial plan that can support it. This generally means a larger nest egg which points you back toward a fat fire or a high-income barista fire model. Simplicity, however, has its own powerful appeal. For many, the ultimate luxury is a quiet, uncluttered life. Their ideal day might involve a long walk in the woods, reading a book from the library, tending to a vegetable garden, having friends over for a simple, home-cooked meal. This is a life of deep contentment that costs very little to maintain. If this vision of elegant simplicity resonates with you, your financial needs are dramatically lower. You don't need a massive portfolio to fund a life of quiet satisfaction. A lean fire plan can get you there much, much faster. A coast fire plan can get you there much, much faster. It's a mistake to assume that more options automatically equals more happiness. Psychologists often talk about the paradox of choice, where having too many options can lead to anxiety and decision fatigue. A simple life with a clear, calm routine can be incredibly peaceful. You trade the potential for endless variety for the certainty of daily contentment. There's a profound strength in knowing exactly what you value and building a life around that, rather than constantly chasing the next new thing. This is the heart of the lean fire philosophy, intentionally designing a high-happiness, low-cost life. On the flip side, the desire for options is a valid and powerful motivator. The freedom to say yes to a spontaneous trip, to help your children with a down payment, or to fund a creative project without financial worry, is a huge component of what makes FIRE attractive to many. This requires planning for a surplus. You're not just saving for your basic needs, you're saving for opportunity and spontaneity. The key is to be realistic about the cost of these options and build them into your savings goal from the beginning. Now, let's connect the dots. Your answers to these 4 questions create a personal profile that points directly to your ideal FIRE strategy. This isn't about fitting into a neat box, it's a starting point. Let's look at a few common profiles. If you value time more than comfort and you have a stable life, can tolerate some risk, and you crave simplicity, classic lean fire, practically screaming your name. Your goal is to maximize your savings rate to escape the rat race as soon as humanly possible. Confident you can live a happy life on a modest budget. You're trading present luxuries for future freedom. Suppose you value comfort, crave stability, have a low tolerance for risk, and want plenty of options in retirement. This combination is a perfect match for Fat Fire. Your journey will be longer, but your destination is a life of abundance and security. You're not just retiring, you're upgrading your entire existence. Your strategy will focus on maximizing income and saving diligently, but without the extreme frugality of the lean path. Your primary goal is not speed but quality of life, both now and later. Imagine you value your time immensely and desire a life of simplicity, but you have a low tolerance for uncertainty and your life isn't particularly stable. This is where Barista Fire shines. It lets you reach a smaller savings goal much faster, get your time back. The part-time job provides a safety net against market risk and unpredictability. A brilliant compromise that delivers freedom without demanding an iron stomach for volatility. And finally, if you value options, can handle risk, but your life is unstable, and you want to front-load your savings effort, Coast Fire is your answer. You go all out for the first 10 to 15 years of your career, building a nest egg that can then grow on its own. This gives you the freedom to pursue less lucrative but more fulfilling work. Move or take sabbaticals in your 30s and 40s, knowing your real retirement is already taken care of. These labels are just recipes. Feel free to mix and match the ingredients to create your own unique flavor of financial independence that suits your personal taste. One of the most liberating truths about FIRE is that the path you choose today is not a life sentence. You are allowed to change your mind. In fact, you should expect to. Your priorities at age 25 will likely be very different from your priorities at age 45. Life happens. You might get married, have kids, discover a new passion, or simply grow tired of your old lifestyle. A smart FIRE plan is not a rigid rail line, but a flexible roadmap that allows for detours. Thinking you are locked into one path forever is a surefire way to feel trapped and resentful. Consider a common and positive pivot. Start with lean fire, then evolve toward fat fire. Imagine you begin with intense frugality, biking everywhere, living with roommates, saving over 50% of your income. You successfully retire at 35 with a lean but functional portfolio. Over the next decade, your investments do exceptionally well. Simultaneously, you start a small consulting business on the side. It brings in more income than you expected. Suddenly, your lean portfolio has grown to a fat one. You can choose to loosen the purse strings, move to a nicer home, travel more, enjoy more comforts, without compromising security. The reverse can also happen, and it's just as valid. Someone might start on a fat FIRE path, enjoying high spending, saving 15 to 20% of a large income, planning to work until 55. But at 45, a life event changes things, a health scare, burnout, or a simple change in perspective. They realize another decade of high-stress work isn't worth it. They make a conscious choice to downshift. They sell their large house, move to a lower cost of living area, slash their expenses. Suddenly, the existing nest egg is more than enough for a simpler lifestyle. They've traded future luxury for present freedom. View your FIRE plan as a living document. Review it at least once a year. Ask yourself the same 4 questions again. Has your tolerance for risk changed? Do you still value time over comfort? Does your life feel more or less stable? Does simplicity seem more or less appealing? Answering these questions annually lets you make small, deliberate course corrections. Your plan should serve you, not the other way around. The freedom to pivot is one of the greatest strengths of the FIRE philosophy. Theory is great, but action is what matters. Getting started can feel overwhelming, so let's break it down into simple, concrete steps you can take right now. First, take out a piece of paper or open a new document and formally ask yourself the 4 questions we've discussed. Write down your honest answers to each. Time versus comfort. Stability. Risk tolerance. Options versus simplicity. Don't overthink it. Just write what you feel is true for you today. This simple act of clarification is the most important step you will take. Based on your answers, pick one of the FIRE paths that seems like the best fit for you right now. Is it lean, fat, barista, coast, your own custom blend? Give it a name. Now, create a tiny 3-step action plan for the next 6 months. This shouldn't be a massive overhaul. It should be small and achievable. For example, calculate my current savings rate and increase it by 2%. Try one low-spend weekend per month to see how it feels. Read 1 book or 10 blog posts about my chosen FIRE strategy to learn more. Small wins build confidence. Next, it's time to test your assumptions in the real world. Your chosen path is just a hypothesis until you live it. If you're leaning towards lean FIRE, challenge yourself to live on your projected retirement budget for 3 months. Track every penny. Was it easier or harder than you thought? Did you feel deprived or liberated? If you're considering barista FIRE, start exploring what part-time jobs in your area might look like. Talk to someone who works at your local coffee shop or bookstore. See if the reality matches your dream. Finally, schedule an annual review with yourself. Put a recurring event in your calendar for December 22nd of every year, titled My FIRE Check-In. During this check-in, you will revisit your answers to the 4 questions, review your progress from the past year, and set a few small goals for the next. Life changes, markets change, and you will change. Your plan must evolve with you. This is not a sign of failure, it is a sign of a healthy, adaptable strategy. In the end, all the talk of savings rates, investment vehicles, and withdrawal strategies misses the point. FIRE isn't about money, it's about control. Choose the path that gives you peace.